Hello, everyone. John Bruna here with the Daily Quotes. Let's go ahead and get right to it. When our compassion inspires us to help others, we suffer less, they suffer less. And as a result, there is less suffering in the world. And when we think about compassion, it's so important to remember it's not about feeling bad for people. That's empathy. And empathy is important. It's how we connect. Out of our empathy, lots of things can happen. We can, well, actually feel hopeless. We can look at the world and see a lot of suffering, and we can feel hopeless. We can get into despair. We can get angry. We can suffer all kinds of mental and emotional stresses. We can also be moved to love and kindness. We can also be moved ultimately to compassion. And that's the thing about compassion. It's actually an energy. Compassion affects a different part of the brain than empathy. It's in the reward system. It allows us to get moving to do something. Compassion is about the desire to remove suffering, to do things that are helpful, problem solving. So when we bring compassion to ourselves and to others, we are A, doing things that allow us to not suffer. What are the healthy things we do in our life to remove the suffering that we encounter in our own lives? Self-compassion, critical. We don't want to suffer, do we? So let's do some things that are healthy and meaningful in our own lives. And let's do some things that are compassionate towards others and how we treat each other. Well, if we want less suffering in the world, let's see if we can be compassionate towards each other, even with people who have a different view. And by the way, compassion does not mean being a doormat. If we're here to remove suffering, we can be very proactive. It's not a passive state, it's an active state of doing something that's important, that removes suffering. And that can be simple acts of kindness with people we see just on the streets, picking up litter as we see that. That's something I kind of try to do. Simple things that make the world a better place. And sometimes we don't feel like we can make much difference in this big world that we live in with so much struggle. Right now, a lot of division. But every time you bring some compassion in the world, either to yourself or others, well, there's suddenly more compassion in the world. And that makes a difference.